Updated for the modern player who loves the feel and control of classic rackets, this is the Dunlop Srixon CX 200 Tour 18x20. Experienced ball strikers who value precision will appreciate this surgical mid-size player's racket, which now provides a more responsive contact zone. Endorsed by Kevin Anderson, it comes with a 95 square inch head, a strung weight of 11.7 ounces, a flexible RA of 63, and a speedy swing weight of 318. It has been reinforced with the latest version of Sonic Core technology, giving this racket great feel at impact. First up, we have Chris. Now, I know you enjoyed the previous iteration of this racket. How'd the update work?
Yeah, so the previous one, tons of control and feel, really liked moving the ball around the court with it. This one has all of that, plus a little bit more plow through, so it's getting easier access to both depth and pace. And with the first version of the racket I tried, I had to add some weight to get that. So this one plays way better in stock form. I'd actually play this one stock, whereas the other one I really needed to add weight to it to get the performance I wanted. Really love this one in stock form. I could really get a lot of touch and feel on my volleys, and it had more stability too. So I could just have a soft grip, and that gave me even more feel for the ball. And from the baseline, I could just drive it deep, didn't have to put as much effort in. It's still mostly a control racket, so you have to take a big swing with it, but it really rewards. I got good spin out of it too, I think, because I could keep that tip speed really high, and so that helped me get good slice and good top spin. Not as much power as my regular racket on serve, obviously, but still good control. Slice serve was working well, so fun racket for me. Really enjoyed it, and a better update.
Next up, we have Troy. Now, I know you love those surgical mid-size rackets. How did this play test work?
Yeah, the previous version of this racket was actually my racket of choice for a little while, just because I really love the all-out control, a lot of feel, very comfortable on the arm, and I think this is a great update to that racket. Kind of as Chris touched on, for me, this update just feels a little bit firmer and crisper, just a little bit more pop, and just a little bit better stability and plow through just from a slightly change in the swing weight. So I think this is a great addition to the Dunlop Srixon line. Comparing it to some of the older control rackets that I've used, I'd say it's got a lot of similarities to the old 200s. Also, like a Babolat Pure Storm Limited is another racket that reminds me of this one. But I thought it was great performance from the baseline. I really feel like I could just swing out, get good depth on the ball. The backhand slice feels really, really nice with a tight string bed. And then coming to net, I was actually surprised for having a lower spec than my usual racket. I got good stability. I felt like I could put the ball wherever I wanted. And then just another thing that I noticed play testing, especially hitting with you, hitting deep balls at my feet, I really felt like I could flick and pick up the balls. It had great touch and good stability against a heavy weighted shot. So all in all, I like this racket. I might just add a little bit of weight to the 3 and 9 just to kind of bring up the swing weight, and I'd string it really low with a nice poly. So good racket.
Next up, we have Sean. Now, I know you previously used an 18x20 string pattern, so I know you like that control from your rackets. How'd the play test go?
Right, so I didn't have the pleasure of being on the last play test of this racket, but I got to hit it quite a bit, and I felt like it was coming in a little underpowered and needed a little bit of tape to get the swing weight up. With this update, like the others I've mentioned, I don't think it needs that. The swing weight's kind of right where I like it. That said, I thought the sweet spot was a little bit more generous, a little bit bigger, but I was still finding that it was a little dead on the top of the racket. So I was considering adding some weight, but then once the strings that we were playing with, once the tension dropped down a little bit, I noticed that the racket was a lot more forgiving. So instead of adding weight, because the swing weight's already where I like it, I would probably just string the racket, sub 50, maybe mid to high 40s, and I think the performance would really improve. Because it's an 18x20 string pattern, you're gonna get the great directional control. It's really point and shoots. You can really notice that up at net and on your serve. I think a lot of people think that you won't get as much spin with these tighter string beds, but especially once I looked at my playside data, I realized that it's not really a matter of spin, it's just a launch angle issue, and so you will get the spin, it just won't be bouncing up as high because the ball won't be coming up the string bed quite as high. But you will notice when you hit a slice, it'll stay nice and low, just like we like it, really dirty. So I like the performance of this racket overall. I think it's a really good update. I think people will like playing with it in stock form a lot more than the last version. I just might suggest dropping the string tension a little bit.
I was also on this playtest as well as the previous version of this racket, and I have to completely agree with what everyone has already said. This update was awesome. I feel like Dunlop was listening to us and they changed the racket just for what we wanted from the previous one. So it definitely felt more stable, more solid in my opinion. I was really appreciating the low powered response and the absolute precision I found from the 1820 string bed. I could hit out with complete confidence, and that's really something important for my game. Now with these lower power rackets, I always worry that my power levels are gonna drop. And this is one of the second times actually with an 18 by a 20 string pattern that my playsite data has shown that I'm hitting harder shots with this racket than my RF97. So that's just another great reason to keep it in my arsenal. On serves, again, I normally worry that the power level is going to be too low, but I really focused on pinpointing my targets and are found to be super effective. On returns, this racket is a dream because I can just swing big, pick my spots, and I'm rewarded. The only issue I had with this racket was when I had someone serving really well, pulling me off the court, specifically on my backhand side, and I just could stab at the ball, and I didn't have a whole lot behind it. It just kind of collapsed right there for me. So that was just a small issue that I had. I just craved a little more stability and a little more plow through right there, but that's really it. At net, I even found some nice volleys. Got some cheeky little shots that were effective as well. So all in all, a great play test. Loved this update. We strung this racket up with Signum Pro Yellow Jacket 17 as well as Dunlop Black Widow 17, both at 50 pounds. For more information about this racket and others, make sure you visit us at Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.